Good afternoon. Welcome, welcome. Looks like it's slow letting people in, so give me a minute. Did anyone have a hard time getting in? Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see my screen, so that I know. Okay, we're light today, but I'm not surprised. We're gonna give it a minute or two to let some people in. No, and yes, no trouble getting in. Yes, you see my screen and hear me. I'm assuming that's what that means. Sandy, thank you. Hi, Perry. Good to see you. Oh, can you believe it? Last market day of 2023. How's everybody feeling? Hopefully smarter than when you started. Well, I'm really not quite sure what to expect. So let's just dive in and everyone else can catch up or listen to the recording. Okay, so a couple of things. Who open mics? Maybe. Infinitely smarter. Love it. Tell me about Gary. How did uh how did yesterday go? Uh with Gary on implied volatility and the option Greeks. Left your response on Discord. Ah, okay. I'll go take a look. Very good. Love it. Okay. Good. Good. He was funny because I don't think he's used to a group setting. He said he didn't feel very polished in his presentation. Um, I think everyone feels that way when they talk to groups. So he was good. My kids will walk by, they'll be like, "Yeah, you say a lot." I'm like, "Do I? I guess I do. I don't know." Welcome out to the Market Watch group. Yes, you do. Welcome out to the Market Watch group weekly market wrap. My problem is my brain is working faster than my mouth. And so, they're not in sync and the ums come out. The brain's thinking about Vegas and positive Vegas and how can I neutralize my theta, and my mouth's like, I'm trying to catch up. Okay, welcome out to the Market Watch Group weekly market wrap. Not only is it the weekly market wrap, it's the yearly market wrap. How exciting is that? My name is Scott. I'll be your host. We're a little light. Oh, we got one more coming in. Let me grab him. Very exciting to be moving into next year together. Here are the disclaimers. That could definitely get me into trouble. It always has. Always has. Today's market analysis, we'll look at our posture. Doesn't look like we've had any changes. You never know what can sneak its way in. We had a couple of instances last week that we said, "Oh, this could maybe have gone up." I said I could maybe be a 7, but I left it. So there's always a chance that those that we passed on changing last week might convince us this week. So we should never just assume, oh, it was only 4 days, the market didn't do much, so it's not going to change. I don't want to make that assumption. I want to make sure that I review it, take a look. So we'll take a peek at that now. Definitely carrying trades over the weekend. Definitely. So we have a few different things to talk about. I'm trying to do more, and this is going to lead. Remember that in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be launching an alert service of trades that will be cultivated by Gary and I from our watch list. We're trying to figure out what information we want to give you. What I'm leaning towards is just giving the stock information and then letting people build their own option trade from it. I also thought, well, maybe because look, I could, if I have a stock trade, I could buy the stock, I could buy the call, I could buy the bull call spread, I could sell the bull put spread, I could sell the naked put, I could buy the diagonal spread. I've got 6 different ways I could put that trade on. And Perry just said, will that just be calls and puts or spreads? Honestly, I'm on the fence with it still. And that's one of the things that I have to hash out. I'm going to have a discussion on Sunday when we have more of us. I'm going to present some potential structures so that you guys can vote. I can't build 6 different trades and try to put that out. That's not going to happen. Right? What I might do is give the stock analysis and then say what I would be leaning towards and why, where I would say, I'm leaning towards buying the option, or I'm leaning towards buying the bull call spread. I can't, there's just no way I can build 6 different trades and be like, oh, well, you could do it this way and you could do it this way. And that can't happen. That's just not going to be effective. So my thought is, if I give the basic parameters, then everybody can go build it how they want, whether they want to build an out of the money versus an in the money, whether they want to go 3 weeks out versus 6 weeks out, whether they want to do a bull call spread versus a bull put spread. So if you have any thoughts, let me know. Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's the most profitable, means also the most risky, right? Where there's no cushion. So I think as I talk about it, I'm leaning even more so to, I'm going to basically identify the trade and the parameters. Where would my stop be? Where would my target be? Is there an intermediary target that I would think about? What would my time frame considerations be? So that's full details. That's enough to take into a pricing model and then decide, you know what, I'm going to go with this option. So that's what I'm leaning towards, is I'm teaching options and I'm teaching how to use an option pricing model so that everyone can go decide, how do I want to do this trade? Because, what you have in your current portfolio absolutely should be a determining factor. If you've got 5 long options, then you might need a spread to bring some balance. But someone who doesn't have 5 long options wouldn't need that. So it's not always about what would be the most profitable, but what makes the most amount of sense relative to A, what position do you have, or what trades do you have on already? B, what's your posture? C, what's your risk tolerance? So yeah, I'm maybe what I would do is give a buy option. There's no way I can, or like maybe one trade where I'm like, here's a sample and out of the money. Here's a sample. That's why it's going to be a couple of weeks still. So, yes. What are we looking for next week? What's our shopping list look like? We're not doing a trading plan progress right now. We're just taking the week off so that we can come back next week and start fresh. But if you've used alerts before and you're like, man, this alert service was pretty good, but I needed this too. Okay, great. What was it you needed? What was it that was lacking? I've worked with people and I see oftentimes what's missing from that. And I'm trying to make sure we have that, but it's very hard. There's so many different ways that we could take a bullish trade, that I need to specify and focus on just one element. So we'll see what that looks like. But what I'm looking for, or what I'm hoping for, is a January 15 launch, Monday, January 15th. And if you're not on Discord, make sure you get there because that's where it's going to come from. So this is just going to start happening and you'll have the ability to look at that. Okay. Let's dive in. Steven said, with these new spread options, I have to get my feet wet. So I take what I think I learned, jump on a trade after doing the analysis on T&W. Is that Thinkorswim T&W Traders Workstation? So what I would say is this. Trade what you're comfortable, paper trade what you're learning. So if you're like, hey, I'm pretty comfortable buying an option, great, buy the option, paper trade. And you could paper trade, buy a bull call spread. You could paper trade, sell a bull put spread. Yeah, you have the ability to paper trade the alternatives. So, all right, let's get into it. What's happening? Market turned around on us a little bit. Not a lot, little bit. Let's take a look. Although we've now recovered a good amount of that. So, yeah, are we starting a new consolidation here? Did we get just a little 4-day? We did get to a new high. We did get bullishness here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now it's kind of pausing. It's hard to know with it being the week in between New Year's and Christmas, whether this is just a pause and it's ready to still move, or if this is going to roll over. I'll tell you this also, if we're going to jump in. Preparing for a momentum the first week of January. Yeah, I hope so. I said, if this, for me, if it closed above 12.65, I would put a small hedge on. It hasn't, so I don't need to. But right now, I'll tell you, this is still going to be setting up for next week, right? This is still going to be setting up for next week. This is our previous low here, and this is where we are now. That is a higher low. If it turns around, it does this. Explain the hedge. I'm buying some puts on the SPY. 5% out of the money, 5 weeks out in time. Now that it won't come this week, but it doesn't look like it'll be till next week, I'm going to be looking at February 9th. So 2.9. And the strike price was 453. Today, I would have done 2 2s, but I'm not going to put it on. It doesn't look like. So it looks like it would be next week. Next week, I'm going to buy a little extra time. So I would go to February 9th, 453 strike, SPY puts. Those would cost me probably next week. I'd be looking at about $1.50 maybe. So hedging the hedge. So the higher low means I'm a little bit concerned of an escalation. Not that I'm like, oh, I think it. The hedge is automatic for me, meaning it only requires one signal. That signal is a higher low. Our last low was 11.81. Right now, we're stuck at 12.49. That's higher. If it keeps coming down and it drops back down to this level, fine. No harm, no foul. But if on Monday it turns and it confirms this by turning this up, that is a higher low. I will put the hedge on, automatic. Protecting against it going lower. Remember, I'm carrying bullish trades. I would expect you guys are carrying bullish trades, right? We have bullish trades on. We're going to be seeing those go. So that's what I'm doing, is saying, hey, if all of a sudden next week the market dips and I'm going to be managing all these bullish trades that aren't working and figuring out which ones I'm going to take the loss and shut down, wouldn't it be nice to have some puts making us a little bit of money at the same time? That's the thought process behind the hedge. We haven't had to worry about a higher low for quite some time, since the end of October, really. But now we have one that's setting up. So we will definitely talk about that on Sunday. We'll talk about it on Tuesday, and we'll see exactly what we think about it. What else? Let's get to the market. Let's dive right in. So let's go to SPY. Our current posture, as a reminder, we were a 6.5. Long-term trend stayed the same. Obviously, nothing's changed there, except that it went up a little bit, and we said it could continue going up, right? So there's a couple of things that we could expect from that. But as of right now, there's nothing there yet for me. The short-term score, same thing. Nothing's changed. Technically, we got up a little bit above here, but that's not enough for me to give it any kind of a score. So I'm going to leave that score unchanged. Unchanged. Volume. Okay, so what do we have with volume? Buying day, buying day. Was this the selling day that I think this was actually? Hey, Michael, definitely better late than never. Good to see you. Buyers. Technically, this is buyers too. Sellers, buyers, nothing. It might stay 0.75. It might dip by a quarter of a point. I'm not sure yet. We have major market and sector rotation. Major market, I mean, we're seeing some strength on the NASDAQ and the Russell. We may see that continue. That could pop again. Sector rotation is maxed out. VIX, I don't think we're going to have any reason to give it the quarter point back. I think the fact that we're in a potential higher low scenario, I'm going to let that score prevail. I don't have a higher low yet, but it is setting up. So I think we'll probably end up around a 6.25 to a 6.5. If it's a 6.25, am I worried that it's dropping? Absolutely not. 100% not. No concern about that at all. If we go from a 6.5 to a 6.25, that is not, oh, look, it's starting to drop. If we went from a 6.5 to a 5.75, if it dropped 3/4 of a point, then I'd be like, oh, what happened? What's going on? It just doesn't look like that. So my expectation is that our premise of bullishness is going to continue going into and we are meeting on New Year's Eve. No reason not to. So we will meet Sunday morning as usual. We will skip Monday and meet Tuesday just like we did this week. Same kind of a routine. Man, all of a sudden we got a good group. Glad to see everybody. Thanks for joining. Love having it. All right, let's get into the watch list. That's where we want to go. So the posture looks like it's going to stay the same. We may drop a quarter of a point. We may stay exactly the same. And there's even an off chance it goes up a quarter. So the fact that I'm seeing it somewhere between 6.25 and 6.75 makes me feel like where we are is where we expect to be still going forward from here. Let's get into some trades. Apple, I'm in it. And I don't have reason not to be yet. I'm going to give it one more day. Is it losing? Yes. It hasn't broken support. We've seen other times where things fail to launch at the very beginning and then they go. My stochastic still looks good. The fact that this is occurring during the week between Christmas and New Year's, I'm going to give it one more chance. I had a good entry because it was anticipatory, so I'm only down a little bit. Yeah, I feel pretty comfortable with it still. Aflac, I'm not doing anything with those. I don't know if anyone is. I kind of eased off of those. AMD looks like it could be hitting some resistance. If I had that one with 3-4 good days of trading, I would be booking some profit. I don't know what level, at least a third, maybe even moving to 2/3 where I'm booking a majority and then saying, hey, if it has a little left to run, let's give it a chance. Again, remember, pop a chat in if you're in any of these trades. Amazon still in consolidation mode. We never really thought, I mean, it was sideways consolidation, but my thought is it's still consolidating down. Great. I would love to trade Amazon. As long as it stays above 149, I think it's fantastic. So there's still room for this to come down a little bit and give me a good signal. No problem. AXP a little overextended, nothing there. Boeing looks very close. So already I want you to notice we have a little bit of a false start on one, and we still have signals setting up on another. This all looks just fine to me. No problems at all. BK. Now the financials, some of these triggered last week. Even at the end of the prior week or early last week, it's a little stalling out. So if you're in financials, yeah, there's a little bit of a concern there. BLDR made a brief move, and it now seems to be consolidating. So if you are in it, you've probably closed it. If not, what are you doing? Waiting for the next opportunity. BLK, same kind of a thing. Michael said he's in XLF, which is likely going to look like a composite of all of these. And you have to decide, because financials definitely gave confirmed signals before other things did. Right? It gave signals before other things did. What does that mean? It means that it could be running out of steam and then pulling back and then starting to match the cycle of other sectors. So yeah, so far the characteristics, the qualities of this market have been interesting, because there's been, the signals aren't all correlated, right? We'll get some signals in financials, then industrials, and then technology, and then, right? So there's a lot of overlap in what we're seeing. BX running out of steam. It made a move. It made a move, and it seems like it's now going to consolidate. So we had big moves and now a small one. Great. As long as, and here's the thing for me, I'd like to see it stabilize around 125 or higher. But I have a little bit of leeway with how far it is from here, from its moving average. I would probably be okay with this even all the way back down towards like 121 and still trading out of the next bounce. Citigroup looks overextended, nothing there. Caterpillar starting to roll over. I actually like Boeing better, and I think Boeing is set up and ready to go. If Boeing breaks, definitely would look to take it. So we're still seeing strength in financials, still seeing strength in industrials. You can see it here in Caterpillar. Still seeing strength in financials, although the last move in financials was a little bit more muted. Wasn't a huge move, just a little bit of a pop-up. Oil. This is my oil trade if I do one. Not WMB. COP. If this holds, and it doesn't have to hold the 50, I'm fine with it coming down to probably 114, maybe around this area. Even if it gets a little through its 50-day, just like back here where it went a little bit through and then it popped. That's the same thing I'm looking for. Is it going to give me an opportunity to trade? I see oil as being a little bit non-correlated to the rest of the market. It's outside of the correlation of the growth sectors that we're seeing right now. Costco consolidating into its next potential signal. That's how I see that. Copart just stalling out. That's a tough one. It looks to be in kind of a very broad triangle pattern. A bit of a symmetrical triangle. Right? If you're in it and you're like, I'm going to see if it breaks, great. I would love to see if, as traders come back from the holiday, they come in as buyers. That certainly would be helpful to us. CrowdStrike still in consolidation. If you took an anticipatory trade in here, It's still viable. It's not right, but it's also not wrong. And I need you to be comfortable with that concept, right? Am I wrong or am I just not right yet? CSX overextended, DAL, little bit of a false start, same thing. If you took the anticipatory, if you're waiting, you're still waiting. But it looks close. And if you took it, you're hoping it breaks. But that one, I definitely like the way this looks on the next turn. DHI is trying to grind itself forward. DIA, a bit overextended. ENVX, this looks great. As long as it holds the 50 and turns from here, absolutely a trade opportunity. Fastenal, flagging, setting up its next opportunity. That could be anytime early to mid next week. Fluor, I think I like Fastenal better, Caterpillar better. Fluor is a little bit more sideways overall. Gold got a new high 2 days ago, pulling back a little bit. Overall, still looks fine. Google, absolutely setting up. I know several of us took Google and Meta. This one is setting up for the next trade. Made a new high, waiting for the pullback, higher low. Let's go. Home Depot, still viable. It's taken a while to work it out, but you can see we're now oversold on stochastics. The sellers haven't really done much. It touched the beginning of this gap, but it hasn't broken it. Overall, I still feel like this looks fine. IBM. Okay, so IBM, I'm not loving. IBM not loving that it's turned. It's starting to pinch. I kind of want to give it we're a 6.5. The fact that it's a long Friday is the only thing that might have me a little inclined to take some off the table, but I think I'm going to give this one full room. ICE looks like it. Now, if I had this and I had this profit, I'd be taking at least half of that, more than the third. I would take half. I might take it and say, I'm done. This looks good. Other than this one big move, that's pretty good. Intel looks like it's now flagging again. I would assume anyone who held on to that has closed it now and is looking for the next opportunity on Intel, right? Looking for the next opportunity. IWM, looking for the next opportunity, right? Are you still in Intel? Stephen, be careful if you're still in it. It looks like it's in its, you can see the stochastics is crossed. Do I think financials will hold over the weekend? I'm leaning that way, Michael. If you have good profits, maybe you take a quarter to a third, lock a little bit of gain in, take a little bit of risk off. That's never a bad idea. But the tough thing about this is the fact that we're between Christmas and New Year's, where we know things lighten up. We know that there are propensities towards lighter trading and a little bit of a stall. I want to see if I can give the buyers an opportunity. If not, remember, if things start to sell off on Tuesday, I'm going to put a hedge trade on pretty quickly as I start to then unwind any bullish trades that I'm still in. IWM flagging. So you can see a lot of things are giving us this kind of a flag pattern here. JP Morgan starting to stall. KKR. The stochastic still looks good. We only moved a couple of days. I'm going to hold it. I like the stochastics. It's just a pause. It's not really that bad. The volume is light. I'm going to hold it. I'm going to let it prevail, which means I better be ready to hedge real soon. Nothing in MasterCard. Meta, love it. I traded it last week or finished closing the trade last week. Now I'm waiting for the next opportunity. Microsoft, I need more. If you're in a spread trade and you're getting some time decay from that, great. Otherwise, Yeah, I'm a little concerned with that. Okay. Netflix. Netflix is pulling back. So definitely communication services in a pullback. Nvidia, yeah, just kind of dying on the vine a little bit. Not really getting much move. Picard, overextended. PDD. I'm really not liking the way PDD is moving since its last earnings gap. I'm gonna bail on this one. I'm gonna bounce it off the watch list, and then if it gives me more signs of strength, we'll come back. So yeah, same on PNC. You can see a lot of these just look like they're kind of stalling, but not necessarily turning. With the 6.5 posture, with a 6.5 posture, I'm gonna stay. And with don't fight the Fed. That's the best advice someone could give. Don't fight the Fed. What does that mean? Well, our Fed is increasingly dovish and accommodative. Yeah, I want to give these trades a chance. If I have to hedge, I'll hedge. QQQ pulling back, but only a little bit. RCL stalling. Rivian still in its consolidation. But look how long the sellers have had. What have they done? Nothing. Roku, I'm still waiting for the break of consolidation. Shopify, I'm closing. I don't like that one. I had that one. I don't like the way that looks. It's fully engulfed the previous day. I'm going to shut that down. I'm not going to hold everything. So if you have a couple of things that you're like, you know what? I'm going to close a couple. SMCI, not looking good there. Snap, still trying to figure it out. SPY, holding up, only down 0.3. I don't like steel and materials right now. Financials I'm going to be carrying a couple of those. UNP industrials, I think industrials will give us more pullback. I think technology and industrials are where we're going to see some signals, maybe consumer discretionary next week. So we'll see what that brings us. The VIX, it looks okay, but I'm a little concerned. There's some escalation here that we're dealing with, right? There is definitely some escalation that we're dealing with. If that escalation continues to rise, I'm going to hedge. Wells Fargo. I took this one anticipatory. Anyone else? And it's still where it is. I'm not wrong. Down a titch, but I'm not wrong. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm looking to hold most of my financials trades through the weekend to see what they can do. WMB took profits earlier. Okay. Took profits on Wells Fargo? Couldn't have been much in there. You mean earlier this week? Ah, okay. Yeah, there was just never much meat on the bone on this, so I'm still waiting for the initial move. WMB. Now, in fact, I'm bailing on this one. Oh, you're saying you took these profits here. I'm looking at this next one coming, right? This is the next consolidation. Look how long the sellers have had. What's happened? Nothing. Nothing. Just waiting for the buyers, and they have plenty of time before the next earnings. Walmart. I'm willing to trade Walmart on the next pullback, but not yet. US Steel, nothing there. XLB, a little bit of a consolidation in materials, a little bit of a consolidation in services, a little bit more of a consolidation in energy. Financial still looks fine. Michael, do you agree? I mean, it's a pause, but it's a pause up near the high. I'm gonna hold. I'm bullish. So there you go. If we have to take the loss on Tuesday, we'll take the loss on Tuesday. Industrials looks like it still has a bit of a pullback to give us, as does technology, right? So technology, industrials, and communication services seem to be a little bit more correlated to each other, and that's where signals seem to be showing up. financials, I'm holding on. Look, I'll tell you what, financials have paid off handsomely in the last couple of months. So I'm going to give them a break, right? I'm going to give them a break and see if they can mount a charge. I think I've made more money in financials in Q4 than any other sector. I don't know about anyone else. Staples looks fine. Nothing really there. Utilities, same thing. I want to talk about SPY. I've got a lot of SPY. A lot of SPY. Now, I'm going to uncheck all of these things and go through it with you. We were talking about time spreads. Now, the first time spread that I put on was the 470. What happened with that one? It's way out here at the edge. So you might be thinking, well, shouldn't you close it, Scott? Hell no. Two reasons why. Number one, this is giving me a bit of a backside hedge now. I have negative delta. So if the market were to drop to 472, this thing is going to actually make money. So let me put 472 somewhere like that. So you'll notice that if it drops from where we are now to 472, this thing makes about 250 bucks. What else do I get? Well, now that we're 7 minutes away, I get Saturday. Look at these two numbers, 445, 707. Then I get Sunday. Then I get Monday. Then I get Tuesday. So by the time we come back on Tuesday, if nothing else happens, I get 505. And if it drops back to 472, this trade by itself is at 900. But remember that this doesn't have to work by itself. So let me go back to today. Time spreads. We love time spreads. We added a 475 by calendar to give us this double structure. You'll notice on the double structure, we're in a great place. That second trade gave me the extra width. Now, this trade by itself is at 940. 940. Could I close it right now and make the 940? Yes. Am I being greedy to not? No. No, because look at what I get. So let's just focus. Now, because the sweet spot's kind of in the middle of these two, it doesn't matter if it drops back. We're still in a good place. Watch this middle number right here. Okay. Can I just highlight that without it doing this? There we go. Watch that number. Saturday, boom, we're at 965. Not great. Not yet. Boom. Sunday, we're at 1100. Monday, we're at 1200. Tuesday, by the time we come back, this thing is at 1,300 bucks right here. 1,300. Just these two contracts. Am I looking to close this on that day? Yes. Why? Because these expire January 5th. Next week is January 5th expiration. So these are gone. I've already started a new one. The new one is here at 476. Now I accidentally did Jan 12, Jan 19. This should have been Jan 12, Jan 26. But look how this looks. This one's up 100 bucks. It just got going this week. No, this one's up 10. This one's flat. Sorry, this one's a break even. But I got all next week to make an adjustment. So if the market were to drop to 471, I would put another one on at 471. If the market raises up to 42, I could put another one on out there. I don't have to do anything on this but sit and wait for it to look like the other ones did. So that's the calendar spreads. And if you missed that session, go back and watch the time spread video in the Options Foundation class. I didn't get a chance to process Gary's video yet. I'm gonna put that in today's. So I'll put both links in today's email. Okay. Next, I have a diagonal spread. Remember that a diagonal spread is a little bit more directional. So if this goes up towards like 477 to 480, I'm going to roll it the closer it gets to January. Well, this is all the way to the 19th. We'll give it some time. If it gets up here to 478, or 488, I'll probably just close it. Move on to another trade because it made money. So we have some flexibility here on this. When we put all of this together, this is just one big sweeping series of time spreads. You'll notice that we're making around $1,100 on this thing, and if we carry it through the weekend, by the time we come back on the 2nd, we're up around $1,500 for nothing. We didn't do anything but just slap the trades on and talk about them a little bit. We haven't had to manage them. We haven't had to do anything with them. They're lower maintenance. They're slower. They don't react as adversely or violently as directional trades can. That's why I like these. We're going to continue doing these. So there's no adjustments to be made, and we already have one on that's new. So next week, we're going to look to close the first calendars, possibly adjust the second calendar, continue managing the diagonal spread. I will include alerts on calendar spreads, 100%. So we might get some directional alerts. We might get some time spread alerts, some diagonal alerts. And if that's the case, I will give you the exact strike prices and the exact managing thought process. But I've got to build myself some templates to make it easy for me to send the info to you guys. That's essentially what I'm looking at. Love the calendar spreads, right, Sandy? Oh my God, I love them so much. I can't even express it. I love them. I should look up and see. So I learned these 15 years ago when I was working at Thinkorswim, a guy by the name of Dan Sheridan. And I think he has a presentation or two on him. I'm going to look on YouTube and see, but he was one of the founders of Thinkorswim. Dan Sheridan and Tom Sosnoff were two of the core guys. I was like, man, I could never, I'm like, he was talking about, I'm like, I hate counter spreads. I've never found a good way for them to work out. But he's like, let me show you. Oh, it's fantastic. So, all right. Markets closed for the year. We will be back on Sunday. We're going to posture the market on Sunday. Talk about our time spreads, talk about options. Remember that next, we're going to get back into trading foundations, but it's going to be abridged. I'm going to have a different routine. I'm going to maybe have to keep like a separate set of recordings for the new one, because the new one's going to be a little condensed. So it's going to be slightly different. So I'll probably have like first iteration and then the condensed version. It's going to be a great year, you guys. I'm excited for it. The group is going well. We're going to start getting the alerts going. Try to get at least 1 or 2 alerts a week, every week. We're going to keep doing what we've done. We're going to continue to build the Discord channel and get people out there. We're working hard to add more traders to the group. If you have feedback on how we can make things better, pass it my way. You can email me. You can send me a direct message via Discord. You can send a group message via Discord. It was phenomenal. I've had such an amazing time with this group. It's flown by. I think we started, I don't know, Perry, remind me. Perry's been around a while. I believe it was May. Did we start in May? Might have even been late April. But phenomenal. I'm trading better than I have in years. My trading is more crisp, and I attribute it to this group. So let me know. How can I support? How can we, and me and Gary, now that we have Gary coming on mid-April, get active on Discord and let's leverage each other. God, you're so right, man. Great call out. We've got to use Discord. Gary's going to be on there more. I'm going to be on there more, but we need you guys to do it. Press, Steven are phenomenal on there. Sandy's on there. She's giving tips and sharing PDF resources so you don't have to go buy books. Phenomenal. Let's work together to make this the best possible experience. I've been in the trading education industry for over 20 years now. I believe we can make it the best experience that has ever existed with what we do. Help me do it. Help me do it. It's great to see everybody. I will see you New Year's Eve. I'm not going to wish you Happy New Year's yet, except for those who may not be there on Sunday. Happy New Year's. The rest of you, let's meet New Year's Eve. Let's the last event of 2023, ready to kick us into next year and move forward. Sandy said it's been, thank you, Sandy. It's been amazing. Lots of learning still to do. So enthused. I love the enthusiasm. I feed off the enthusiasm. I appreciate you guys. I hope you have a great weekend. I'll see you Sunday. If not Sunday, I'll see you Tuesday. As always, happy trading.